History remembers emperors, generals, and conquerors, but sometimes the most powerful stories belong to those who never had the chance to speak. This is the tragic life of Sporus, a young slave in ancient Rome, forced to become the wife of Emperor Nero after the death of his beloved Papaya Sabina. A story that exposes how absolute power can erase a human being completely. The year was 65 AD. Nero, in a fit of rage, struck his pregnant wife Papaya Sabina and killed her. Grief twisted into obsession. Nero refused to cremate her body, kept it preserved, and continued speaking to her corpse, unable to accept the truth. Then he saw Sporus, a teenage slave, whose face resembled Papa. And what Nero did next remains one of the darkest acts of psychological and physical violence in Roman history. Nero demanded that Sporus become Papaya. His identity was stripped away, his name forbidden. He was dressed in Papaya's gowns, trained to imitate her voice and mannerisms, and surgically castrated, transforming his body against his will. When the transformation was complete, Nero staged a traditional Roman wedding. Guests attended, priests blessed the union, and Sporus, barely more than a child, became the emperor's wife. Renamed Sabina, paraded in public as a living ghost, a replacement for a woman already gone. For 3 years, Sporus lived trapped in a nightmare, forced to perform a role written to erase him entirely. Reality and illusion blurred until escape no longer seemed possible. When Nero's empire collapsed in 68 AD, Sporus fled with him and was beside him when Nero committed suicide, helping him die to avoid public torture. But freedom never arrived. After Nero's death, Sporus became a prize passed between emperors, a trophy, not a person. His final humiliation came under Emperor Vitellius, who ordered him to perform in the Colosseum, reenacting the myth of Proserpina. The ritual would end in public rape and execution. Faced with the final theft of his dignity, Sporus chose to end his own life around the age of 20. His last act was the only decision he was ever allowed to make. Sporus never commanded armies or built monuments, but his story matters because it reveals what happens when power becomes absolute and people become property. Rome called itself a civilization, yet even at its height, it devoured the vulnerable and celebrated their suffering as entertainment. Sporus reminds us of a brutal truth. History is not just the story of rulers, it is also the story of those crushed beneath them. If history like this matters to you, the real stories, the forgotten voices, the uncomfortable truths, follow this channel. There are more shadows from the past waiting to be exposed.